Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day, and may peace be upon you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me in my show. Yes, I can, with your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And today I have the gorgeous, the beautiful, the inspiring Danielle Tidwell. She is a breast cancer survivor living in El Salvador, Central America, with her family and her four boys. And we're going to be sharing about the mindset that it takes for you to overcome your health adversity, or when you went through such a huge trauma in your life, the mindset it takes for you to get back up again and be living your dreams. So Daniela, darling, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome to El Salvador.
Thank you. And what's the weather like today in El Salvador?
Beautiful, warm, sunny, gorgeous weather.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think also, like warm, sunny, beautiful weather is like one of the key, isn't it? To have like a healthy, happy mindset. Because I used to live in England, dark, gloomy, cold,
Yep.
rain, and we only have sunlight a few days of the year. And when you ask someone, how are you? They'll be like, oh, not too bad. Like, oh, for God's sake, not too bad. Like everything just goes bad. So
Absolutely.
Daniela, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey, because what you went through was such a huge trauma in anybody's life. My late mother-in-law was a cancer survivor, and I knew, like, it's such, I still remember the day she told us. I still remember. So talk us through, what was it like for you before, and what, just like, how did you find out about it?
Yeah, well, during the pandemic, my husband went on a business trip and got stuck in the United States for over 100 days. So during that time, I found a lump in my breast while I was taking a shower one day. And it really freaked me out. And I called my husband. I said, I have this lump in my breast. But here in El Salvador during the pandemic, the country was shut down completely. So I was here by myself with my four boys. We don't have any family here in El Salvador. So, really kind of alone. So I was terrified when I found the lump in my breast. I called the doctor, went and had my mammogram, ultrasound. And then I remember driving to the doctor's office. It was a Saturday morning. Got called into the oncologist's office, and I kindly asked him, if I could call my husband on speakerphone so that he could be, a part of it as well. And he said, absolutely. So I called Chris on FaceTime. So he was there with me when the oncologist told me that the results from the biopsy came back for breast cancer. I just remember sitting there in that moment thinking, what? How could this be? And the moment that he said cancer, it was like the world stopped, and I didn't hear anything else. Thank heavens Chris was on the phone, so he listened to all the information, but all I heard was cancer, and then everything just stopped. My mind was whirling. How could this be? I'm already stuck here in another country by myself with my four kids. How can another trial be put on top of that with cancer? How am I going to do this by myself? Chris had no way of coming back at that point in time. So I'm like, how am I going to do a mastectomy and chemotherapy with four kids all by myself? We don't have any family here. My mind was just whirling. I remember leaving the office and calling Chris. I'm saying, all I heard was cancer, and then, my mind just went blank. So did you catch all the information? Luckily he did. And kind of filled me in, but it was extremely overwhelming. And of course, I think anyone, when they're faced with a giant challenge, like cancer, finance, anything, their direct response question is, why me?
Yes.
I felt like I'm a healthy person. I always do my gynecological exams. I'm exercise. So why me? How did this happen? And that's a really, I think that when anybody's faced with a major trial, that is really easy to get caught in that trap. Why me?
Absolutely.
Why is this happening?
Yeah, I
And
think like the why me is kind of like a normal kind of thing, like and it's okay to say why me, isn't it? It's just part of normal responses. But talk us through about when you say why me, and then more importantly, Danielle, how did you break through that victim mindset or mentality? Because you could be, oh my God, why me, poor me, every single day for the till now. Like we just met each other. Was it 2 weeks ago?
yeah,
I think 2 weeks ago. So I met Danielle and her husband Chris. In case you're wondering who Chris is, it's Danielle's husband. So I met Danielle and Chris at an event, and they were just amazing, and I just loved them instantly. And so talk us through, like, you had the why me moment. So talk us through from there, and then what it took for you to shift from why me and here I am today.
yeah. So instantly, I started to notice how cancer was taking my power.
Mm-hmm.
It started to infiltrate my family, my kids, like it was infectious. It went through my whole life, and I didn't like where it was taking us. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want my kids to look back on this trial and think, oh, my mom was always sick, or she was always in bed, she was always depressed.
Mm.
And I think at that moment, I realized, you know what, I can't live here. I can't live in the why me moment. I need to pick myself up and find a way to use this trial to teach my kids, to teach my family that, we can be happy and have
Mm-hmm.
challenges. We can
Mm.
have hard things in life happen to us and be happy. We can
Mm-hmm.
find good things around us, find the blessings in all of our difficult moments. And that, for me, was, I think, the pivotal moment where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take my power back. Cancer, it can take my hair, it can take my breast, scars and everything, but it's not going to take my power. I'm going to use this to teach my kids, you know what? Whatever life throws at you, you can hit it right back and you can be happy. I think that was the most important part to me. And I think doing that for my kids then in turn helped me internally to actually believe it. So I think in the beginning, I did it for my kids. I wanted to fight for my kids. I wanted to show them that, cancer is not going to defeat us. But then it started really to resonate with me, and I believed it, and I believe it now. So we started making funny videos, reels on Instagram, something to do fun as a family. We do exercise videos as a family. Exercise has been really important for my mental health through this whole process. Looking for ways to serve others has been a huge blessing in our lives, to not just focus on ourselves, because everybody has challenges. So, if we could step out of, what's happening in our life and serve others, that was a huge blessing to us. Kids look forward to, taking cookies to people or finding ways to help others in need. And so it helped them take the focus off, okay, my dad's stuck out of the country, my mom has cancer, we're in a pandemic. I mean, that was a lot of things, a lot of challenges at that time, but just shifting that focus changed the whole dynamic in our house. We were happier, family dinners. We made it a point to, we have date nights with each one of our kids, because during the pandemic and cancer, I felt like we were home a lot, when I didn't feel well. We spent a lot of time together, but none of it was quality time. There was not time where, I was really connecting with my kids or with my husband. So we decided every Friday night we do date nights with our kids. So each Friday night, it's a different child's night. We go up into our backyard and they get to choose what we order for dinner and what we do. The younger kids bring games and cards, and it's just them for the night. But just all those like little things, changes that we made in our daily life changed the whole dynamic in our house.
I mean, that's absolutely incredible, because you're going through so many things, because your body, your mind, everything aches, everything's hurting, you're tired, going through physiological change with your hair and everything. But what I found was that in that split moment, you just made a decision. You just made the decision, kind of like, it's enough. This is what I'm going to do. This is what my decision is. And I'm going to honor that. And this is how the structure that I'm gonna put in place to support my family, myself, and my kids. And I love what you said. Like, first of all, like, you did it just because of the kids, right? Because I think that's a natural mommy thing.
Yeah.
It's like a first thing. We love our husband, but it's always like, oh my God, the kids. But
Yeah.
first, the kids. But then you mentioned something in that space brought it back to you.
Yeah.
This is how I'm shifting the focus back or the power back to me. Because I feel like you're saying, like, no other thing has power over you, except for God and the divine. But regardless, everything else, your thoughts, your behavior, how you say things, how you shift things, is on you. And talk us through about what your husband, Chris, played in your role. Because like you mentioned, at the doctor's office, like, all you heard was that one word and the rest was like blah, 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 nothing else. And talk about what Chris's, your partner, your husband, the love of your life, did in order to support you, that you felt made a difference. So hopefully when people hear this, it gives them an idea on how to support you in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm 100% blessed. I have the most wonderful husband. He really, in the beginning, the word cancer and chemotherapy and mastectomy, losing my hair, it was a lot. It was
Yes.
almost too much for me to grasp. And I felt like every doctor's appointment that I sat in, people's lips were moving, but I wasn't
Yes.
internalizing anything. And so I would, luckily Chris, he was my rock the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
He researched, he helped me put together the best team of doctors. He would make me food, after my mastectomy, he'd bring me dinner. He made me, healthy meals. He'd make my shakes, prepare my supplements. And he kind of carried me through until I was strong enough to be like, you know what, it's my time. I need to now start taking control of my health. But in the, in the beginning, the baby stage, he took complete control, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He was amazing. And I know that he was struggling at the same time, in his own way. He wasn't having to go through the physical challenges that I was going through, but he had to deal with everything that I was going through, and, I was going through a ton of physical changes, which, then in turn changes our can change our marriage and how I feel about myself. And it's a lot of emotions to navigate. And he was super patient the entire time, super supportive. I feel super blessed.
That's amazing. And because I remember, like, with my late mother-in-law, my father-in-law was just like Chris. He would drive her, he would take care of her. My father-in-law, I mean, the only thing he cooks is just eggs in the morning. That's it. But he would, go out and get the food or prepare things. He would do the things that he can in his own capacity. And I think that's really important, isn't it, Danielle? Like, for your other half to support you in any capacity that they can, it's going to be a lot. Because like you said, you had changes physically, mentally, emotionally. You were probably like aching, crying all the time. You look like you, but you didn't look like you, because everything was changes. But what was the thing that kind of like held together your marriage? Because I know it's a huge thing. Some people just get a bail. That one word, some people just I can't, no, not for me. Like, I'm gonna bail, because they know what's gonna, the path that is gonna likely to happen. So what was the one thing? Was it a prayer that you said? Was it was it a conversation that you had at one night? What was the thing that held both of you together? Or is it like the years that you've been together?
I think it's all of those things, but, he was stuck out of the country for 100 days. It was kind of miraculous how the same weekend that I was diagnosed with cancer, a way for him to come home became a reality. Somebody here in El Salvador found a way for him to cross the border illegally from California to Mexico to Guatemala to El Salvador. An incredible trip. That's a whole nother story.
Yes, it's an adventure. He had an adventure.
He had a super adventure. But I think that adventure plus him being gone for the 100 days, the cancer, I think that was a very pivotal moment in a marriage. It could have gone the complete opposite direction where we were like, this is too much for me. But instead, it really brought us closer together. He's like, we got this. We're going to fight this. We as a family, we came together as a team. Certain things that I couldn't do, Chris picked up the slack, or my kids. And I think that going through the trial and doing it together, he was with me 100% the whole way, that it solidified our marriage and just brought us that much closer.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's all of those things, but I feel that, if you truly love someone, there's nothing you wouldn't do to help them or be with them. Just like you with your kids, like you decided I'm going to do it for my kids. So I feel like, and not everybody have that, but it is possible to have that when you truly find the right person. There's no if and buts. It's just is. Like you said, Daniela had a team, shifted about the date nights with each of the kids. And how old are your kids again?
I've got a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, 11, and 6.
So 16, 14, 11, and 6, right? And the thing that comes to my mind, what on earth do you cook for 5 men, for 5 boys? So, I know like with my own kids, they're always hungry. Like, so what on earth? I know this is not part, but it's also something that, what do you feed them? What do you cook? Like as a mom, what do you kind of like prepare to feed? Well, including Chris, is going to be 5 boys, isn't it? So. Yeah, so talk us about, that aspect of your life.
The whole process, pandemic, cancer, the whole thing actually has been a tremendous blessing. I tell my husband it's been a blessing, my greatest gift wrapped in ugly wrapping paper. Because we've grown so much as a family. So, you ask me, what do I do for food for the kids? Well, after I had surgery in the pandemic, my kids learned to cook. My kids can cook anything. They'll pull up a recipe, they bake, they make homemade pretzels, they barbecue. They've grown on their own in that capacity. But yes, our grocery bill is insane. We go through probably more than 60 eggs a week. It's incredible how much they can pack in, but they have become really independent. So they come down, my oldest 2 would come down and they'd make breakfast for their brothers, and they haven't perfected the cleaning up yet. So they do make a giant disaster, but at least they can provide for themselves.
That's absolutely amazing. It just shows that circumstances kind of like pushes you to be who you're meant to be, or to help you grow, or to figure out new things, which is absolutely incredible. And yes, soon they will learn the cleanup, I would say, within really, really soon. Because like you said, like it's a disaster after that. But it's the part where they kind of like, I feel that your energy, like, fantastic at cooking, but then cleaning up. Like for me, an amazing cook, and then cleaning up, I'm like, so my husband takes care of it, which I'm really grateful. So talk us about, you mentioned about a date night with Chris and with each of the boys. So why did you make it like for each and every one, like, separately instead of like together as a family? I'm pretty sure you have it as a family too, but why was it important to have that one-on-one space, even though you're going through your treatments?
Yeah, so, during the pandemic, like I said before, I felt like, everybody was home, we were in lockdown. We spent all day together, but I never felt like we were connecting with our kids. And my kids were struggling. I was going through my own thing personally. Chris was having to deal with, a new load. He had to work, take care of the kids, take care of me. But my children had their own grieving process as well. They were scared. I remember when I had to shave my head, my youngest two were so excited. They're like, "When are you shaving your head, Mom? We can't wait." And I'm like, patience, guys, it's coming. But my oldest two, we sat here, right here, and actually in this space, and my husband shaved my head, and my two teenagers kind of sat around the corner, and it was really hard for them. And that made it harder for me to see, that the effect of me losing my hair was having on them.
It's kind of like such a significant physical change, right?
I think for them, the moment that I lost my hair, it made it real. My mom is sick. And that was scary for them. It was unknown. So Chris and I spent a lot of nights, and they were struggling. It was really tough for them, online school, cancer, pandemic. It's a lot for anyone, let alone a teenager that's going through hormonal changes and just got a lot on their plate. So Chris and I spent many nights thinking, how can we help each one of our children in a more personal manner, help them through this? Because for a moment there, I felt it was kind of all the focus was on me, getting me healed, getting me, healed from my surgery, that we needed to then, refocus our energy on our kids and making sure that they were living in a healthy environment and their needs were getting met. So we came up with the idea that, every Friday night, we're going to have a date night with each one of our kids. And that's a time where they can connect with us personally. They can share with us their fears. We talk about goals and their dreams and what we can do to help them reach those, which is hard to do like at a family dinner, especially with 4 boys. Everybody's talking over each other, or they're fighting, or somebody punched someone. So it's almost impossible. But that one-on-one time with each one of our kids has been so valuable, and they look forward to it immensely. They mark it on the calendar, and they plan out what they want to order and what they want to do. Obviously the older two, they like to just talk and be together, but it's really a beautiful moment that we can connect with them without their siblings, and it's just us.
I think that is awesome. So you put in like a doable, practical things to help them to support yourself and their own mental health, or as a way to feel the connection, as a way for them to express their feelings, or in a way to channel what they feel into like something positive. So I just want to if you can just say a couple of things, because this is the idea, this is the solution, but I want to know what are the traps, or what are the things that you need to for family going through this, that you want to be aware of. For example, is it like a mood change? Is it a word they say? Is it like a particular behavior that you want to catch and take care of that and nurture that and shift it into something positive? You mentioned that your kids going through hormonal changes and they were really sad. So was it they cried all the time? Sometimes that when you see things, you're like, oh, I know that I need to take care of this and nurture it and catch them and, love them before it goes. Because it could go the other way, couldn't it? It could go the other way. So if you can just give one tip for any parent going through that experience, so that they can catch what their kids are going.
Yeah, so for us, with my teenagers, it was the acting out. It was that call for attention, the fighting, the bickering, that was kind of, a red flag for us, or not wanting to participate in things that they used to love. My oldest son loves sports and shooting archery, and all of a sudden he didn't want to do any of that, which it would have been really easy for us as parents to just be like, okay, we're busy with, cancer and all these other things. But we were really, attentive to those little changes in behavior that we saw. And so, we took action. We really felt like having a connection with them would make this whole process much easier. So connection is really important. And honesty.
Absolutely.
Honesty
And that
with,
is brilliant.
we told our kids from the get-go what was going on, and we were honest and clear with them, which is, I think, is really important, because they're scared. And if you don't share information, they're a lot smarter than we think they are. They catch on, they can pick up on all the little things going on, emotionally with their parents. And so if you don't share with them and are open with them, it just makes it that much harder for them and more scary. So I think communication is really important, honesty.
I think that's absolutely amazing. So as we wrapping up, like Danielle, you've done like so much hot stuff, golden nuggets, the vulnerability, the other side of it, what you went through. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that, and your strength and your courage, and you're kind of like a fighter for your kids and Chris and yourself. So I just wanted to really acknowledge you for that. And as we're wrapping up, what is one fun thing that people don't know about you? And you can't say dancing and do all those fun videos. So what's one fun thing that people don't know about you?
That people don't know about me. I used to be pretty crazy. So I think that, now having to fight through this has kind of brought that fighting spirit back. I jumped out of an airplane when I was 20. I was pretty daring back in my younger years.
That is so cool. So you like the daredevil kind of in disguise, like jumping on airplanes, and that's something I wouldn't expect of you, because I see your videos, really fun stuff. I have a feeling, did you coordinate all those fun movements with your family? That is so cool. So what's one word that kind of symbolizes your message for yourself or for any other women that's listening to this session?
Can you repeat it? You cut out just a little bit.
Oh, sorry. So I was just wondering, what is one word that kind of like symbolizes your message for yourself and for other women that's going through this transformation?
One word, probably hope, positivity. Positivity is power.
That is awesome. So just think about the positive, the things that on the other side, in a way, isn't it? Even though it's like, you probably couldn't see the light, let alone the tunnel, isn't it? There's no tunnel, let alone the light. So, but it's just a matter of knowing that that is there and hooking in to that space. So, what is it? Hope of positivity?
Positivity is power.
Positivity is power. So that's absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, Danielle, for today.
Thank you,
What an
Isahar.
amazing story that you've shared.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. And Danielle's info, I'm going to put it in the show notes below. So Danielle, what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Either on Instagram or Facebook.
What's your, what do you call it, handler? Is it Danielle Tidwell?
Yep.
Danielle Tidwell. Okay, perfect. So Instagram or Facebook, she does a lot of really cool, inspirational things. She would get her boys and Chris, doing fun stuff. And where do you see yourself going through this in the next 6 to 12 months? Is it going through like as a beacon of hope for others? Because I'm pretty sure, are you still going through your healing process still?
Yeah, yep.
Brilliant. And what's next for you, Danielle? So when we see each other in the next 12 months, what's next?
We have lots of projects in the mix, but right now I really want to share the message that when life is hard, you can still be happy. I think that's really, I mean, life has been really hard for so many people during this pandemic that I think it's really important that, you know, the power of positivity, that we shift our focus and we find a way to be happy while enduring life's challenges.
That's absolutely beautiful. So thank you so much, Daniela. It's been amazing hanging out with you. And I know that your message and your heart is going to speak to so many women. And all my love and my prayers are for you and your family. So thank you so much for joining me. With
Thank
me, your
you.
host, Dr. Izdiha Jamil. Tell yourself, yes, I can. And so it is done. Say bye, Danielle.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.